Many tech empires trace their roots to venture capital or corporate labs. Apple's story begins with teenage mischief housed in a raw plastic blue box. The spark ignited in 1971 on a quiet suburban sidewalk. A mutual friend introduced 16-year-old Steve Jobs to 21-year-old Steve Wozniak, who was in front of his family home washing his car. They sat on the curb for hours, discovering a shared obsession with two specific things: designing digital electronics and pulling elaborate practical jokes. Wozniak was thrilled to find a high schooler who actually understood circuits. Jobs, meanwhile, was floored. Wozniak was the first person he'd ever met who knew more about electronics than he did. That sidewalk meeting established the partnership that would eventually build the world's most valuable company. Beyond technology, they spent their early friendship immersed in the music and poetry of Bob Dylan. They spent countless nights poring over Dylan's lyrics, analyzing the imagery and debating the layered meanings hidden inside the poetry. This obsession led them to track down rare concert bootlegs across San Jose and Berkeley. They bought high-end TEAC reel-to-reel tape decks to record hours of unreleased audio, and used the Xerox machines at the Stanford Linear Accelerator Center to copy rare songbooks and brochures. This artistic immersion influenced how they approached technology. By internalizing Dylan's creative thinking, they ensured their future computers would prioritize human emotion and design over raw processing power. Their first major joint operation targeted the administration at Homestead High School. At the end of Jobs' junior year, they created a massive tie-dyed banner featuring a giant hand giving a middle finger salute, signed Swab Job Productions. Wozniak used his engineering skills to build a complex system of ropes and pulleys. He designed it to dramatically unfurl the sheet down the side of a building, just as the graduating class marched past the balcony. Jobs coordinated the stunt on the ground. The banner deployed perfectly, turning the prank into school lore and earning Jobs an immediate suspension from the principal. The event served as a trial run for their partnership. They proved they could merge a rebellious idea with flawless technical execution. In late 1971, they applied that same energy to hacking. After reading an Esquire article about phone freaks making free calls, they rushed to the Stanford Linear Accelerator Center library to find the precise routing frequencies used by the AT&T network. Wozniak discarded the unstable analog designs others were using and engineered an elegant digital blue box. It generated specific audio tones that cleanly bypassed the phone company's equipment. Wozniak built it for the sheer intellectual challenge. He called the Vatican, pretending to be Henry Kissinger, asking to speak with the Pope. Jobs saw a commercial opportunity where Wozniak saw a joke. Using the aliases Oaf Tobark and Berkeley Blue, they went door to door in college dorms, selling the devices to students for $150 each. They sold roughly 100 units before a terrifying encounter in a Sunnyvale parking lot where a buyer pulled a gun on Jobs and stole it. They quit the business immediately. Jobs later claimed that there would be no Apple without the blue box. The project locked in their permanent roles. Wozniak invented for the thrill of the build, and Jobs figured out how to package and sell the result. By '76, Wozniak designed the Apple I motherboard for the Homebrew Computer Club, intending to give the schematics away for free. Jobs recognized the commercial value, convincing Wozniak to sell the printed circuit boards, arguing, even if they failed, they'd have a company. To get Apple Computer started, they needed $1,300 in working capital. Raising the money required significant personal sacrifice. Wozniak sold his prized HP 65 calculator for $500. Jobs sold his primary mode of transportation, his Volkswagen minibus, for $1,500. Liquidating their most valued possessions turned their partnership into a high-stakes business venture. They were no longer just building for fun. They were now financially tied to the success of their new company. Their first break came from the Byte Shop. The owner, Paul Terrell, agreed to buy 50 computers at $500 each, but only if they were delivered fully assembled. Jobs secured $15,000 worth of parts on a 30-day credit line. They set up a makeshift assembly line in the Jobs family garage, enlisting friends and family to solder chips by hand to meet the deadline. The Apple I appealed to hobbyists, but Jobs wanted to reach a broader audience. He began planning a successor built into a sleek plastic shell with a built-in keyboard. Wozniak engineered the Apple II, with color graphics and expansion slots, while Jobs focused on the sleek plastic casing. To scale production, they secured a $250,000 investment from Mike Markula, who helped them incorporate in 1977. The permanent DNA of Apple was set. By combining Wozniak's engineering genius with Jobs' commercial vision, they created a company that would drive the personal computer revolution.